I'd like to call this meeting of the Williamsburg-James City County School Board to order. Is there a motion to certify closed session?
Madam Chair, I certify that the best of each member's knowledge, the Williamsburg-James City County School Board, while in closed session, discussed only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements as stated in Virginia law, and that only such public matters as were identified in the motion convened in the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Urza?
Ms. Ownby.
Aye.
Mrs. Taylor.
Aye.
Mrs. Young.
Aye.
Dr. Beers.
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Hummel.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Moving on to item 3.1, at the Pledge of Allegiance, we have a rising 8th grader from James Blair Middle School, Townsend Ownby Conley, will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Urza, would you take the rolls, please?
Dr. Beers.
Here.
Ms. Cook.
Here.
Mr. Kelly.
Here.
Ms. Hummel.
Here.
Mrs. Taylor.
Here.
Mrs. Young.
Here.
Ms. Ownby.
Here. Item 3.3, approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Urza?
Ms. Hummel.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mrs. Taylor.
Aye.
Mrs. Young.
Aye.
Dr. Beers.
Aye.
Ms. Cook.
Aye.
Ms. Ownby.
Aye. Item 4.1, announcements and superintendent's report. Dr. Herron?
Good evening, Madam Chair. We're very excited this evening because the first day of school is just around the corner. This week, we welcome back our incredible staff to our buildings and offices. New teacher orientation is always a highlight of back-to-school preparations, and this year we have 110 teachers joining WJCC schools for the first time. Of those 110, only 27 are brand new to the profession. The other 83 have at least 1 year of experience in the classroom. Several topics are covered during our new teacher orientation, including the use of instructional technology, communication, mandatory reporting responsibilities, licensure, and benefits. Our new teachers also spent some quality time in their schools getting to know their mentors and administrators, learning the layout of the building and talking about resources, supports, and expectations. Overall, it's been a great 2 days with our new teachers. We look forward to welcoming our veteran teachers back tomorrow. And speaking of back-to-school welcome, schools are busy planning their open house events for students and families. Open house events at all 3 of our high schools will take place on Tuesday, August 27th. Middle school students and their families will meet teachers at open house next Wednesday, August 28th. And open house at our 9 elementary schools will take place on Thursday, August 29th. These are great opportunities for students to meet teachers and shake off some of the back-to-school jitters. In addition to the open house events, many schools are sending information to parents via email. Please check your inbox or visit your school's website for back-to-school news you can use. Madam Chair, that concludes my announcements for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Herron. Moving on to item 5.1, recognition of students and staff.
We have no recognitions this evening.
Citizens' comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to provide comment.
We have one speaker.
We have one speaker.
Mr. Everson, do you need me to read this? Oh, I thought you did. We're good.
Jay Everson, 103 Branscombe Boulevard. I came last month to talk about the future think and adjusting for age-restricted communities. At the end of the meeting, one of you pointed out that basically, well, Jay, that's all nice, but we have kids coming out of there. I've always focused on colonial heritage, and I'd just like to point out that by fact, by covenant, they're not allowed to have any children over 60, school-age children over 60 days there. By covenant, they're not allowed to even have swing sets in their yards. And there are, they tell me there's 4 kids out there. According to colonial heritage, there's 0 kids. And I have provided you information that we have 0 buses going in there. About 4 years ago in the spring, a question came from one of you to then CFO Ms. Berta. And the question was, how accurate are these projections? And she answered, well, year to year, within 1%. And of course, the last time, the same question went to Dr. Herron, and she gave the same answer. But later in the year of 2015, when the Future Think came out, there was an adjustment. Prior to that, the year to year was based on most likely. It was changed to low enrollment projections in 2015. I provided you the information on that. Now, the reason I bring this up is because we have had changes in how these numbers are reported and computed. I am suggesting that the way to get around this issue without having to go around to 14 different age-restricted communities, identifying how many kids are there. I gave you information last month on the U.S. Census data from 2017. Depending on how you define household size or household definition, is 2.3 to 2.5 people per house in James City County. Future Think uses 2.9. I am suggesting that you take 2.4, the midpoint. That would compensate for, while you'll still have more people, kids showing up in colonial heritage, other areas of the county will, of course, be depressed, and it'll kind of even out. So you can get accurate projections going forward. Because without accurate projections, you're asking people to make decisions for $38 million for an elementary school. Your own projections in the current methodology show that in 10 years, you're 37 kids over capacity, including Bright Beginnings and Head Start. Have a Bright Beginnings Head Start capacity problem, not an elementary school problem. And I think the numbers will show a more accurate trend line forward. I provided that information for you. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Iverson. Okay, moving on to item 7.1, the consent agenda. Item 7.1, approval of minutes from the following meetings, June 18th, July 9th, and August 6th. Financial report and monthly bills and payroll for July 2019, personnel action items, and release from compulsory attendance, case R20-03. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Zarza?
Mrs. Taylor? Aye. Mrs. Young?
Aye.
Dr. Beers?
Aye.
Ms. Cook?
Aye.
Ms. Hummel?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Ms. Ownby?
Aye. Moving on to action items, 8.1, the budget calendar. This was discussed at our last meeting.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the fiscal year 2021 budget calendar.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
I
Hearing none.
appreciate staff's addition, extra CIP meeting and as tentative.
Thank you. Any additional comments or discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Zarza?
Ms. Hummel?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mrs. Taylor?
Aye.
Mrs. Young?
Aye.
Dr. Beers?
Aye.
Ms. Cook?
Aye.
Ms. Ownby?
Aye. Item 8.2, authorization to permit city-county use of school buses. This is an annual.
Madam Chair, I move to authorize the superintendent or the superintendent's designee to approve requests from the city and county to use school buses through September 30, 2020.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none.
Ms. Cook?
Aye.
Ms. Hummel?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mrs. Taylor?
Aye.
Mrs. Young?
Aye.
Dr. Beers?
Aye.
Ms. Ownby?
Aye. Item 8.3, award RFP number 19-14120, full line custodial supplies, which was also discussed at our last work session.
Madam Chair, I move that we award RFP 19-14120, full-line custodial supplies to the 4 vendors recommended by the RFP Committee and the Purchasing Department. Acme Paper and Supply, Biersch Industries, Riverside Paper Supply, and Rutherford Supply.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Zarza?
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mrs. Taylor.
Aye.
Mrs. Young.
Aye.
Dr. Beers.
Aye.
Ms. Cook.
Aye.
Ms. Hummel.
Aye.
Ms. Omby.
Aye. Item 8.4, award IFB number 19-14125 HVAC filters for WJCC Public Schools.
Madam Chair, I move that we award IFB number 19-14125 HVAC filters for WJCC Public Schools to AAF McQuay in the amount of $20,779.60.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Surza?
Mrs. Taylor.
Aye.
Mrs. Young.
Aye.
Dr. Beers.
Aye.
Ms. Cook.
Aye.
Ms. Hummel.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Ms. Omby.
Aye. Item 8.5, 2019-2020 CNS food and consumables purchase, which was discussed at the last.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the purchase of food and consumables to First Colony Pizza in the amount of $192,974 and Coca-Cola Bottling Company Consolidated in the amount of $386,800.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Ms. Cook?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I cannot support this item today. I don't think we should be selling sodas to children, and I'm concerned about selling items with caffeine and artificial sweeteners. I cannot support it.
Thank you. Any additional comments or discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Surza?
Mrs. Taylor.
Aye.
Mrs. Young.
Aye.
Dr. Beers.
Aye.
Ms. Cook.
No.
Ms. Hummel.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Ms. Omby.
Aye. Item 8.6, revised policy JN Appendix A, student fee schedule for school year 2019-2020. Motion?
Madam Chair, I move with approval of the revised policy JN Appendix A student fee schedule for school year 2019-2020.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just like to comment that I appreciate staff's look at the equity, through the equity lens. Thank you.
Additional comments? Ms. Surza?
Ms. Cook.
Aye.
Ms. Hummel.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mrs. Taylor.
Aye.
Mrs. Young.
Aye.
Dr. Beers.
Aye.
Ms. Omby.
Aye. Moving on to item 9.1, board member comments and requests. We'll begin with Ms. Cook. Dr. Beers?
No, I just would like to mention the fact that we lost a really dedicated teacher who was here for a number of years. Matt Crawford died rather suddenly down in Merle's Inlet, and his wife Debbie Crawford, was a GN teacher for many, many years in our in the school district. And so I just want to say that at least my thoughts and prayers go out to Debbie and her two kids. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Beers. Mr. Kelly?
Well done, Dr. Beers.
Young?
Yes, I just want to welcome our new teachers. That the staff has been very hardworking in getting them ready for opening day, and welcome back tomorrow our hardworking faculty, and just want them to know that I appreciate everything they do for our kids.
Thank you, Ms. Young. Ms. Taylor?
Ditto. I just have one small update about the WJCC Foundation. At our last meeting, we talked about an October event that was going to be scheduled, and that event has now been confirmed as October 23rd at War Hill High School from 5 to 7 p.m., and there will be more information coming soon.
Thank you, Ms. Helmut, for that update. And I would just like to say ditto to my colleagues and welcome, and I'm looking forward to Convocation and the new digital version. So moving on to upcoming events, the School Liaison Committee is meeting on September 11th at 8 a.m. in room 300 in the annex. The Policy Committee is meeting on September 12th, also at 8 o'clock in central office in room 108. And then upcoming meetings, we have closed session on September 3rd, room 309 in the annex, followed by work session at 6:30 in room 300, and we have a closed session on September 17th at 6 p.m. here in Stryker, followed by a regular meeting. And I believe at the next September meeting, we'll have a batch of policies. I'm looking forward to the batch from Dr. Murphy. And so unless there are additional comments, discussion, this meeting is adjourned.